Okay, let's unpack this. The world of molecular biology is changing, like incredibly fast.
Yeah, it really is.
And a major driving force here is artificial intelligence
Yeah,
and machine learning, of course.
definitely. AI and ML.
We're now able to analyze biological information on a scale that, well, it was previously unimaginable.
Totally. Leading to breakthroughs and, drug discovery, understanding diseases better.
And personalized medicine, that's the big promise, right?
It's truly remarkable how rapidly this field is transforming. The capabilities that AI and ML are bringing they're opening up entirely new avenues.
Exactly. And that's precisely what we're diving into today. We've gathered a range of information, focusing specifically on master's programs.
Right.
The ones that sit right at this crucial intersection where molecular biology meets AI and ML.
Kind of a shortcut for understanding this area.
Think of it that way, yeah.
Yeah.
Your direct route to understanding this exciting and rapidly evolving area.
If we consider the bigger picture, these programs are basically preparing a new generation of scientists, right? People fluent in both bio and computation.
That's it. So our goal today, it's simple, really. We want to help you, our listener, grasp what these interdisciplinary programs actually entail.
What they offer.
What kind of training they offer, yeah. And what you should be thinking about if you're considering exploring this field further.
Okay.
We'll be drawing on an analysis of several leading master's programs to guide our discussion. So let's get started.
Sounds good. So maybe an important initial question for someone interested in, applying AI to molecular biology is, where do they even start looking for programs?
That's a really insightful starting point, because if you're expecting to find loads of programs titled like molecular biology and AI, well, you might be missing where the action is.
Okay.
What we're seeing is that the AI integration is becoming so central that these programs often go by other names.
Like what?
Like bioinformatics, computational biology, maybe biomedical informatics, those kinds of titles.
Interesting. So the program title itself can be a key indicator of how deep the AI integration goes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Take, for instance, the University of Maryland Global Campus, UMGC, their biotechnology program. It has a bioinformatics specialization, and they specifically mention using neural networks, AI.
Right there in the description.
Exactly. Then you've got Harvard. Their program in computational biology and quantitative genetics explicitly includes machine learning.
Okay, Harvard too.
And NYU Tandon's bioinformatics program emphasizes machine learning as like a fundamental skill. So these programs clearly signal their AI focus.
So for our listener, those titles, bioinformatics, computational biology, biomedical informatics, those are kind of the key terms to hunt for.
That's right. Now, if we contrast that, think about the University of Texas at Dallas, their molecular and cell biology program.
Okay.
They mention computational biology as a research strength, which is good. It suggests computational methods, maybe including AI, are used.
But it's not front and center in the curriculum description itself.
Exactly. It's not as prominently featured there.
This distinction is really crucial for you to consider then. If your main goal is really applying AI and ML within molecular biology, you need to look beyond just the program title. You've got to dig into the specifics, what's actually taught, what research is happening.
Precisely. So the first key takeaway here, if you're really focused on AI applications and mol bio, broaden your search. Don't just look for molecular biology programs.
Got it. Okay, now let's explore why. Why are we seeing this big convergence of AI and molecular biology? What's the main driver?
Well, it pretty much boils down to data, a massive influx of data.
The data explosion.
We're in the era of big data in biology, yeah. Largely thanks to tech like next-generation sequencing NGS and high-throughput screening.
Right. NGS lets us read genetic codes super fast, generating just tons of information.
Exactly. These technologies are just churning out more biological data than ever before.
It's not just the volume, is it? It's complex data, too. Think about a single human genome.
Precisely. And our sources really back this up. UMGC talks about using data reduction techniques and neural networks, AI, to analyze large sets of crucial information.
Makes sense. Need ways to simplify it.
Harvard's program emphasizes statistical and epidemiological skills needed to manage and analyze these large-scale genomic datasets.
Okay. Handling the scale.
And NYU Tandon points to mastering complex data, driven by advances in gene sequencing and machine learning.
So it's not just that we can generate all this data.
Right.
It's that we now need these sophisticated tools like AI and ML to actually make sense of it, to find the meaningful insights.
Absolutely. In this context, AML isn't just like a helpful add-on. It's becoming essential.
An essential toolkit.
Yeah, for finding patterns, uncovering relationships, and ultimately, speeding up biological discoveries.
Okay, so we understand the why, the data deluge. Now, what about the skills? What specific skills do professionals need if they're working at this intersection?
It's a real mix. Truly interdisciplinary. First off, you absolutely need a strong foundation in molecular biology and genetics. That's key.
Can't skip the biology.
No way. Programs like Harvard and NYU Tandon really emphasize this. You've got to understand the biological principles first, before you can apply the computational stuff effectively.
Makes perfect sense. You need to know the biological questions before you use AI to find answers.
Exactly. Then, on the computational side, you need programming skills. Proficiency in various languages.
Like which one?
They're talking Python. All right, that's huge. But also maybe Java, Perl, C, C++, even Bash scripting for command line work.
Wow, quite a list.
Yeah, and several programs, including UMGC, Harvard, NYU Tandon, they all highlight these coding skills.
So you've got to be comfortable writing code, basically, managing and analyzing this complex biodata.
Precisely, and it doesn't stop there. Expertise in data analysis, statistical methods, things like biostatistics, regression analysis, survival analysis, mathematical modeling, too. Those are crucial.
Interpreting the results the algorithms spit out.
Yeah, understanding the statistical significance, but also the biological relevance, right? UMGC, Harvard, NYU Tandon all mention this area.
Right. Statistical rigor.
Exactly. And then there's data management, understanding data structures, algorithms, databases. UMGC and Harvard highlight this.
Handling the data efficiently.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, these specific ML techniques themselves.
The core AI stuff.
Yeah, things like neural networks, data mining, statistical learning.
Yeah.
These are paramount for tackling those huge genomic data sets. All three of those programs emphasize these.
Neural networks, for example, those are the ones that learn patterns from data, kind of like a brain.
Exactly. They help find subtle connections in really complex biological data.
So it's a really comprehensive toolkit. You're part biologist, part programmer, part statistician, and you need to get AI.
It might sound like a lot, yeah. But that's why these specialized master's programs are so valuable.
Okay.
They're specifically designed to equip you with this exact blend of skills.
Okay, let's take a closer look at some of these programs then. It's one thing to talk generally, but how are specific universities actually doing this, integrating AI and MolBio?
Great idea. Let's start with Harvard University. They're Master of Science in Computational Biology and Quantitative Genetics.
Okay, Harvard.
This one's full-time, 2 years, on campus. And like we said, strong emphasis on statistical and epidemiological skills for those large genomic data sets.
And what about the AI integration specifically? What stands out there?
They explicitly mention training in data mining and statistical analysis techniques, as well as machine learning. So it's right there.
Okay, very clear.
But they also keep that strong foundation in biology. They really want that interdisciplinary blend. They even have a specialization track in statistical genetics. You want to go deeper there.
Interesting. And the coursework, what does that look like?
Core courses include things like applied regression analysis, introductory genomics and bioinformatics for health research, and molecular biology for epidemiologists.
So you see the mix right there in the course titles.
Exactly. Building both the quantitative and the biocompetencies together. Plus, they expect students to get proficient with a range of computational tools.
Like the programming languages we mentioned.
Yeah, working in UNAX, scripting in Perl or Python, advanced programming in C++ or Java, and definitely using R for stats.
Sounds pretty rigorous. Probably assume some background coming in.
It does seem that way. Their admission requirements actually mention needing a background in both statistics and biology.
Oh, okay.
Which signals they're aiming for a deeper dive into these specialized topics. And it seems to set graduates up well for bioinformatics careers or further doctoral studies.
Gotcha. Okay, now let's shift to NYU Tandon, their online MS in bioinformatics. How does that compare?
NYU Tandon, they really lean into this convergence. They explicitly highlight their focus on big data analysis driven by, quote, advances in gene sequencing and machine learning.
So very direct about the AI and data aspect.
Very direct. Their program aims to equip students to develop algorithms for analyzing genomic info and NGS data.
And the online format is a big difference, obviously. Offers flexibility.
Huge advantage for many people, yeah. What about the structure?
It's a 30-credit program. Core courses, a big capstone project, and electives. The capstone sounds interesting, involves substantial programming, and internships can count towards it.
Yeah, which is great for getting that real-world experience baked in.
What about their admissions? Is it strict like Harvard's background requirements?
They recommend a bachelor's with a background in either biology, chemistry, or computer science.
Oh, interesting. So potentially attracting people from slightly different starting points.
Seems like it. And they even offer an NYU Tandon bridge course for people who might need to shore up their foundation in one area or the other.
So a bit more flexible on entry, maybe?
Potentially, yeah. Their program focus seems geared towards careers in bioinformatics and computational biology, tackling diseases like Alzheimer's, autism.
Using AML to find biomarkers and genomic data, that kind of thing.
Exactly, that sort of application. So maybe a slightly broader entry point, but still delivering those specialized interdisciplinary skills.
Okay, makes sense. Now, what about University of Maryland Global Campus, UMGC? Their online MS in biotechnology with the bioinformatics specialization. You mentioned it's a PSM.
That's right, a professional science master's, which is noteworthy.
Yeah, PSM usually means it's geared towards industry roles, right? Blending science with business skills.
Exactly. And how does AI fit in? They explicitly state students learn to use data reduction techniques and neural networks, AI, to analyze big data.
Okay, AI mentioned clearly again.
And the program structure seems focused not just on data analysis, but also workflow management, regulatory compliance, things important in the biotech industry.
So maybe a more practical, applied focus, guide towards working in industry straight away.
That seems to be the vibe. It's 36 credits. Core bioinformatics courses cover stats for biotech, data structures, algorithms, even Java for biotech applications.
So solid technical core.
Yeah. And they emphasize coding, Python, R, Java, Bash. And they highlight course projects developing neural networks, AI, for analyzing real-world data on human diseases.
Wow, that sounds very hands-on.
It does. And they offer an intro molecular biology course if needed. Plus, it's worth mentioning, they're ranked pretty highly among online bioinformatics master's programs.
Okay, so that PSM designation, the clear AI focus, the online format, that could be really appealing for working professionals in biotech or pharma already.
Definitely seems like a strong option for that path. Now, just briefly touching on a few others.
Sure.
University of Chicago, MS in Biomedical Informatics. Doesn't scream AI everywhere, but includes advanced bioinformatics, genome analysis, that inherently uses AI-like computational techniques.
Implicit AML.
Yeah, UT Health Science Center at Houston Online MS in Biomedical Informatics focuses on health data science, again implying sophisticated analytics. They're actually ranked #1 online for bioinformatics.
Wow, #1, okay.
University of Maine, another online PSM in bioinformatics. Strong interdisciplinary foundation, math, computer science, mol bio, also highly ranked.
Great options there, too.
And then back to UT Dallas. Their MS and molecular and cell biology.
Right, the one where AI wasn't explicit in the curriculum description.
Correct. But their research strengths, genomics, systems bio, computational bio, plus access to NGS platforms. It strongly suggests AI and ML are significant tools in their research environment, even if not a named course focus.
So you really see a spectrum.
Exactly, from programs shouting about AI in the title and curriculum to others where it's more embedded in the research culture and advanced coursework.
Which really just hammers home the point, right? You, the prospective student, need to look closely, examine the curriculum, faculty research, get the real picture of the AI integration.
Absolutely. And, that brings us nicely to thinking about the broader institutional context. Where did these strong interdisciplinary programs tend to pop up?
Well, maybe not surprisingly, the strength often correlates with how good a university is in both biological sciences and computer science.
Makes sense. You need strength in both domains.
Exactly. And if you look specifically at computer science rankings that assess strengths in AI and machine learning, that gives you another good clue.
Okay, so which universities typically lead in these areas? Any familiar names?
Oh, yeah. Harvard, again, consistently top-ranked in biosci, and also a powerhouse in computer science with, recognized AML strength.
This is right there.
MIT, another perennial leader in both. Stanford University, also very strong rankings across both biosci and computer science AI.
Usual suspects, in a good way.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you have others like UC Berkeley, UC San Diego, consistently recognized for high achievement in both fields.
So it seems like being highly ranked in both biology and computer science creates this fertile ground for these interdisciplinary programs to really thrive.
Precisely. It suggests a strong base of knowledge, resources, faculty expertise in both the biological side, providing the data and context, and the computer science side, providing the tools like AI and ML.
Okay.
But, and this is important for you to remember, overall university rankings aren't the whole story.
Ah, okay. What do you mean by that?
Well, like we saw with some of the specialized programs, right? A university might not be, say, top 5 overall, but they could have an absolutely outstanding program in a specific niche.
Like health informatics or bioinformatics for biotech.
Exactly. That might be driven by specific faculty expertise or maybe really strong ties to local industry. Think about UT Health Science Center Houston being #1 for online bioinformatics, or UMGC being highly ranked there too.
Right, so it's not just about the biggest names. The best fit for you might be a program with deep expertise in exactly what you're interested in.
Exactly right. And the top universities, they often actively encourage this interdisciplinarity. They set up dedicated programs, research centers, collaborations that bridge these fields.
Breaking down the silos.
Yeah. And you'll often see high research output, good citation records, access to cutting-edge facilities like those NGS platforms at UT Dallas we mentioned.
Right.
It all feeds into doing this advanced work.
Okay, so we've surveyed the landscape. We've looked at specific programs, considered institutional strengths. Now let's bring it back to you, our listener. If you're trying to make sense of all this, what are the absolute key factors to weigh when evaluating these programs for yourself?
Okay, yeah. The practical checklist for you. First off, curriculum alignment. Super important.
Amy.
Does the program explicitly cover the AML techniques and the molecular biology applications that actually relate to your specific interests? Don't just look at the title. Dig into the course descriptions.
Right, don't assume. Verify.
Exactly. And tied to that, faculty research interests. Do the professor's research areas line up with what you're passionate about?
Like your cancer research example earlier.
Precisely. If you want to do AI in oncology, see if faculty are doing that. And remember, maybe a lesser-known place has a world expert in your niche. Don't overlook those dark horses.
Good point. Okay, what's next?
Second, think hard about the program format. Online, on campus, hybrid. What genuinely fits your life, your learning style?
Pros and cons to each.
Definitely. Online offers accessibility, flexibility. On campus might offer more direct, hands-on research opportunities. It's a trade-off to consider.
Okay, format, then what?
Then the type of degree. Is it a traditional MS, Master of Science, or a PSM, Professional Science Masters?
We talked about this with UMGC in Maine.
Right. Remember, PSMs blend science with business skills. Great if you're aiming straight for industry. A traditional MS might be more research-focused, maybe better if you're thinking PhD later.
Gotcha. MS versus PSM. What else?
Look closely at the research and capstone opportunities. Will you get practical experience?
Wow.
Through hands-on lab research, an internship, a major independent capstone project. That practical experience is incredibly valuable on your resume.
Definitely. Shows you can do it, not just study it.
Exactly. And finally, the nuts and bolts. Admission requirements and prerequisites.
Well, can you actually get in?
Basically, yeah.
Huh.
Does your background meet their criteria? Check carefully. Some offer those bridge courses, which is helpful.
Right.
And like we noted, programs wanting strong backgrounds in both bio and computation are probably offering more advanced training. Might be tougher to get into, but potentially more rewarding.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Well, our sources didn't detail this, but it's always smart to consider things like career services at the university, the strength of their alumni network. Those can be really helpful down the line.
Good general advice.
And ultimately, success here often comes down to having a solid base in either biology or computation, and then being really committed to building up your skills in the other area.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up to bring it all together.
Yeah.
The main takeaway. This intersection of molecular biology and AI, it's not just a fad, it's fundamental.
A fundamental evolution in how we do biology.
Yeah, and the top programs are often under these interdisciplinary titles, bioinformatics, comp bio.
Yeah.
And there's a real variety of formats and focuses available for you.
And it's crucial to remember why this is happening. AI is now a core tool because of the sheer amount and the complexity of biological data we're generating.
Absolutely. Couldn't do it without AI anymore, really.
Pretty much.
So, okay, here's a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Think about how these continuous advances, both in AI and in the ways we generate biological data, how they'll keep revolutionizing our understanding of life, of disease, in the coming years.
It's moving so fast.
It really is.
Right.
And maybe consider, what role could you play in that incredibly exciting future?